guys, welcome back to another interview. Today we have AJ Buse, who started his carpet cleaning business about, what's it been, like a year?
Year and a half, about
Year and a half?
January of 2022.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Amazing. Before we get into the actual experience, I want to talk about your background and kind of what you did before getting into carpet cleaning.
Awesome. Yeah. So kind of typical. I went to school for 5 years. I studied criminal justice and forensic science at, it's called Utah Valley University here in Utah. And absolutely enjoyed it. But I realized throughout schooling that I didn't want to jump directly into like law enforcement and be a police officer because it doesn't pay the best.
Yeah.
And I have some ambitious goals and I want some financial freedom and flexibility.
I know how that is, just coming from elementary education. Great job. I loved it, but I could not pay the bills.
Yeah. So I'm like passionate about it. I love it. It's something that really interests me, but I realized I wanted to kind of take an entrepreneurial route to kind of establish myself, get some capital that I could use to create passive income, streams of revenue. And then once I'm established in my 20s and 30s through working hard, then I can use my degree to do things I'm passionate about, be a private detective or PI, things like that.
Sure.
So I went to school, I did door-to-door.
Not worry so much about the bills.
Exactly. Yeah. Especially at the beginning when it doesn't pay the best until you pay your dues.
Right.
5-10 years in, and then there's more opportunities. So I did that, and then I also did door-to-door sales for about 5 years in between going to school each summer.
Yeah.
That learned a lot from, a lot of hard work.
How did you like that?
I had a love-hate relationship with it, like a lot of people.
Sure.
Like I didn't love sacrificing my summers each year and not having the same social opportunities that a lot of my friends did back home.
Yeah.
But and I didn't love too the long hours. Like it was a lot of hard work, but I realized like with a lot of things, you get what you put into it. So the harder I work, the more sales I get and the more I would make. So it made sense when I'm already out there to just work hard and do your best. So I enjoyed it overall. It taught me a lot, and I earned a lot more money than I would doing any other job back home going to school.
Sure.
As a person in their early 20s. But after a while, it kind of hits a point where you realize you want to move on from it, no longer sacrifice summers, work those long days.
Settle down, maybe you'll
settle down a little bit, have a normal life, and start making money other ways. So it's kind of, I guess, me in a nutshell. Grew up in Utah and had those two different experiences.
So had you prior to getting your carpet cleaning business up and running, had you started any other businesses before?
Not really. No, I had done things where so I collect and I flip Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
I've been doing that for a while. Sweet. So that's kind of like a business, right? Because I make everything and I invest into it and I can flip things. I know the market. Sure. So I've done that. My brother worked at Nike and has a connection there. So we flipped shoes like crazy. We'd flip hundreds of pairs of shoes every month. So I got into kind of like the flipping game, where I was like my own business owner.
So you know the hustle.
I know how to hustle, but it's not like I created an LLC for it or you know what I mean? Had to go out and find customers to service and help. Yeah. So kind of had some experience being my own boss and knowing how to sell things, but then also not really
in a very informal way.
Yeah, in a very personal, entrepreneurial way, not even like a social business.
Yeah, sure. So then getting in touch with us and the Blue Collar Blueprint, was it difficult to actually get something up and running, or can you tell us a little bit about your experience actually starting your business?
Yeah, so it lined up. The reason I was interested in the way it lined up really well is I just finished school. And like I said, I had always kind of done things on the side that I was making decent money from. Yeah. But I knew I wanted more streams of revenue and income.
Sure.
And so it lined up where it's not like I ever grew up thinking I want to be a carpet cleaner. I'm passionate about carpets. But I did realize looking into it that there's several things about it that fit things about me. One, I want to help people. Yeah. And so in a way, improving the quality of life in their home helps people. Sure. And then also too, I'm a very organized, clean person and probably have OCD about things looking a certain way and being as cleanly as possible. And so that fit skills I had to clean people's carpets and improve their home. And
Sure.
so it lined up right where I was looking into different things that I might want to do to kind of stay busy post school. And so the carpet cleaning gig, when I looked into it, it made sense on like a personal financial level, this and that. But it kind of was at first, it was just a whole new world that I'd never experienced before.
Yeah.
Like I didn't realize the work you have to put in to find customers. Like I assumed like,
Sure.
oh yeah, my
Yeah.
parents will get their carpets cleaned or maybe some family and friends.
Yeah.
But there definitely was a learning curve to figure out how to efficiently and effectively find customers, take care of them right, retain them, create repeat customers.
Right. Yeah.
And so, yeah, there's definitely a huge learning curve. That's why finding somebody like yourself that had the stability and the knowledge to help me with that platform and help me with
Sure.
that opportunity helped
Yeah.
a ton to kind of like give me the resources and tools I needed.
Just to
And-
have someone there to like metaphorically hold your hand
Oh,
through
100%.
that startup process.
Yeah, and like educate me on things that are working, things that aren't working, what can be changed, what has worked for other people, and kind of just be like you said, somebody to hold your hand, but also just be like a safety net when I needed it,
Sure.
or like
Yeah.
a voice of reason when I needed it. So it
Yeah.
helped a ton to kind of have
Right.
that security there,
Cool.
especially from the beginning where like I didn't
It can be
really know
rough,
what I was doing too
especially
much.
in the start, because that's the most likely place that you're going to make serious business mistakes that can sink the ship in
Mhm.
general, is like during that first couple months where you're still figuring things out. And if you make one little mistake, it's likely that mistake could be detrimental to your business. So
Yeah, kind of like a snowball effect, or
yep.
creating negative impressions for your customer base or your technicians, or yeah, for
Exactly.
sure.
Yeah. So overall, going from, I mean, before starting your carpet cleaning business, how much did you know about carpet cleaning specifically?
Like almost literally nothing, like very,
Okay.
very little. Like
Yeah.
my parents got their carpets cleaned. I had friends that had looked into carpet cleaning businesses as well. So I knew like some
You knew it
margins.
existed as
I knew
a
it
service.
existed, yeah,
Yeah.
as like a service that basically anyone can pick up and do, and try to create a customer base to help as many people as possible. But I didn't know a lot of the logistics or kind of the finer details, again, like what works and what doesn't work,
Sure.
and like how to effectively get things going.
Yeah. I want to ask you, I get a lot of guys reaching out to me that they're kind of sold on the dream of like Amazon stores or Amazon FBA, like online marketing agencies, that kind of thing. And I know, have you done any of those before?
So I've looked into a lot of that stuff. Yeah. So I did
Okay.
self flip some Amazon like mystery
Mystery
electronic boxes, things like that you can
Yeah.
buy. So I did a little bit of that, but
Okay.
yeah,
All right.
I'm not looked into a lot of the TikTok trends on how to
Yeah.
make
There's a lot of
tens of thousands of dollars
being
a month
sold
from that. Yeah.
online. And I get a lot of guys reaching out that are like, wait, you helped me start like a carpet cleaning business or a service-based business. Why not just do like an Amazon business? So in your experience, what's your opinion on like doing carpet cleaning or an actual service-based business over some of these other dreams that are sold like Amazon stores and things like that?
Yeah. My general opinion about what kind of like the quick buck hustles that you're talking about is it's like in a lot of things in business. I think the top 10% make 90% of the revenue, or like in like multi-level marketing schemes, things like that. Like, can somebody break through and make a decent amount? Like, sure it happens. But often I think it's the people that are already established and already know the things that make the vast majority of it, but they're incentivized to get people in because they're just going to make more from it themselves.
Right.
And so I don't think there's any like perfect solution to make a quick buck, or there's truly anything out there that
and now that I think about it, most of those guys are probably making most of their money from coaching other people how to do it rather than their actual Amazon store.
100%. Yeah, there's a bunch of scams out there, things like that. Yeah. So I think a lot of the get rich like quick schemes or things that's like anybody can make $10,000 from their home. Like, again, I'm not saying it's impossible to be successful or do that. I just think the vast majority of people can't find success in that.
Yeah.
And it is too good to be true. Like a lot of things, if it seems to be good
Sure.
to be true, it most likely is. And so I think going back to the question about versus the difference of
Comparing
like
that to,
customer service,
yep.
like serve it like a company that can service and help people. I think there's always a safety behind knowing like there's literally tens of thousands of potential customers in your
Yeah.
area that you can help. Like there's actual qualified customers. That's just up to you to market yourself and your company and your brand and your service in a way that they'll give you a shot. And they give you a shot, and so then your chance
Yeah.
and the opportunity to earn their business and do the job right, so that you create a customer base that then it's just free business
Right.
as they repeat your services. So I just think it's still a lot of work, like anything is, to make money.
Right.
You're not guaranteed customers. Like I said, when I first got started,
Yeah.
I didn't really know how I was going to acquire customers.
Get your parents, a couple friends.
Exactly, right? But how do I get some
Beyond
random Jane Doe from across the street or in a different neighborhood to give me a shot versus, anyone else or all the other competitors out there?
Yeah.
So like in the service-based industry, there is customers out there and there always will be. Like especially in carpet cleaning, it's a service that people will use on a yearly basis if they're smart. It's just up to me and my company to do what we can so that they give us a shot to take care of them.
Right. Love that. And how hard is it to actually get those customers like Jane Doe down the street? Is it difficult to get those customers?
I definitely think it is at first, just because like we talked about, you don't really know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And then it kind of just hits a point where you realize that it just takes hustle and work and connections to make that happen. And so like I know you had talked to me about it where you were like, when you got started in your carpet cleaning business, you actually would do physical door-to-door knocking to different businesses and apartments. And like you'd go out of your way to put yourself in front of qualified customers to have the opportunity to help them. And so it's just kind of a good old hustle at first where like you kind of gotta grind, find a way to be efficient and help people. And then you realize too, like another way that you can do is just through good old networking. And that's kind of the route that I specifically took, was just finding different networking opportunities in the area I'm at. And partnering up with different companies that we have similar morals and standards. So like I found a restoration company. Now we partner up with about 5 different restoration companies, but like found a restoration company, a cleaning lady, because they don't clean carpets, right? And then like a carpet and tile company that would install it or stretch or repair it, so they would need things cleaned afterwards.
Right. So
just trying to be efficient in different networking and partnering up with different companies to basically send you free leads because they already know the customer trusts them and their opinion. Right. So like if they recommend us, then they'll just go with us.
Gotcha. So do you personally do door knocking at all?
I did at first. Yeah, I haven't knocked a door in probably over a year now. But at first I did some cold contacting to just different companies that I knew of. So I had a friend that's a dentist. So I went to his office, talked to him.
Nice.
But then I was like, hey, he's gonna give us a shot. So I might as well talk to all the other businesses in this complex, right? In that building. So I'm like, talk to all them. So always try to be efficient in how I door knocked, right? In different companies and areas, but often it'd be through somebody I knew, so I had some credibility that we were helping so and so. Right. But then try to take care of everyone else in that area.
Sure. Nice. Do you still do door knocking, or are those or you said you haven't done
so I haven't in over a year. Yeah, over the last year it's mainly just been through, at this point, word of mouth, connections, referrals. People referring us to their family and friends after we take care of them and do a good job. And then also just like I said, through the partnerships that we've connected with. Where it's just free organic referrals and leads from.
So are you paying for marketing, like online marketing, to run ads on Facebook or Instagram or anything else?
We did that at first for a little bit. That did help. That land us, a couple jobs a week here or there. But we haven't paid for social media ads in a little while as well.
And your business is still going without paying
still going. Yeah. So it's been good.
Wow. That's
Mhm.
incredible. That's awesome. Very
Yeah, thanks,
nice. So a lot of these guys are considering starting their own business. They've just been introduced to the idea of starting like a service-based business, going to people's homes, providing a service. Some of them considering carpet cleaning. You mentioned before starting your business, you hadn't done carpet cleaning before. When
Nope.
you were starting to get serious about starting your business, what were your initial thoughts on carpet cleaning in general? Like, were you excited about it? Were you dreading it? What were your honest feelings about
Yeah.
it?
I think there's a human element where, of course, I was nervous and like
Sure.
dreading servicing the first couple of jobs because it's not like you can. At least the way I viewed it is, I didn't want to just like hire out immediately because then I couldn't relate to the technician on
Yeah,
like how a job should be done
yeah,
and like what it's like to work with customers both happy and maybe not so satisfied.
right.
And
Yeah,
so I did purposely try to do jobs myself for the first little while to like actually get experience and exposure to the job. So
okay.
when I hired out, like I could relate to them on an
Yeah,
actual like authentic human level.
right.
And so I think, yeah, there was definitely human nature where like I was nervous, maybe dreading it a little bit,
Yeah,
anxious, things like that. But I still was excited about certain things where one, I think the margins are insane, like with service-based industries.
yeah,
That's what honestly interests me for the most part.
yeah.
At the beginning was like, hey, the margins work out really well.
The margins are nice. It allows you room to scale your business.
Yeah, like when you want to hire out, if you want
Yep.
to hire a secretary, a manager to do the logistics of some of
You
the other
have
things.
money or room that you can do
Mhm.
that.
Yeah. And then also, so I like the margins. Also, I liked how it's just hands on. Like, I don't want to ever really
Be stuck
be
in an
confined in
office.
an office and desk for too long.
Yeah.
And so the fact that it was kind of like hands on, the opportunity to meet people. I love meeting people, be in different areas, all that, see different homes. But then also, like, again, just being my own boss was really important to me and having the flexibility that way. And then the fact that the job itself is really chill. Like it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out how to effectively clean and sanitize carpets and make
Yeah.
them look, smell, and feel as best as possible.
Yeah.
And so I like that, I could plug in my AirPods, listen to a podcast or music while I was doing my thing. And
Yeah.
the couple hours would go by quick. And then just like that was
Sure.
a couple $100 for my time. And
Nice.
hopefully got a repeat customer out of it. That again, it's not like I'm paying for a lead for when they need it cleaned next year.
Right.
Just come to us again. And
Perfect.
so that's kind of my thoughts initially was, okay, can give it a shot. Anyone can do it. Learn a little bit about what works and how to do it. But the job itself wasn't super hard or difficult. And
Yeah.
it's pretty laid back and
Awesome.
enjoy it.
So 2 questions from
Okay.
that. The first one, going through our program and everything with the training that we have, how hard was it to actually learn the process of carpet cleaning before you could go out and do a job?
Honestly, it's pretty quick. Yeah. I learned pretty quick. The process itself,
Pretty quick, like a couple months,
like, oh no, I'd
a
say
week.
like a week. Yeah. I was doing a job
okay.
within a week of kind of
Okay.
like
Nice.
I did service my parents first. So like I
Nice.
practiced in their homes.
Get a little practice.
Yeah. So like specifically on how we clean carpets with my company is we use a buffer on top
Sure.
of like other things, right? So the buffer was a learning adjustment.
Yeah. It
Kind
can
of
be a little tricky, a little intimidating.
yeah. I kind of compare it to riding a hoverboard. Like at first you're like, how do I stay stable on this? Once you
Yeah.
figure it out, it's kind of like walking. You don't even
It's
think
second
about it.
nature.
Yeah, it just does what you want. So buffer is kind of like that. So there's a little bit of a learning curve for like that first week to kind of just figure out like what's the most safe and effective way to transport things, to efficiently clean a room in sections, how much chemical do I put in the formula, how do I distribute that onto the carpets, upholstery, you know what I mean? Like there's a little bit of a learning curve, but honestly it was pretty easy in the way that you guys had set things up and explain things. It was pretty clear cut at the same time that it was like, okay,
Sure.
I can follow these steps and these guidelines and then just
At least
find
for the basic
basic process, exactly.
Yep.
And then just fine tune it to what works for me and my company
Yeah.
and our process to then tailor also then for each individual home, because I think every home is different, every stain is
Sure.
different,
Yeah.
every type of carpet is different, what method or chemical works best to lift certain things. So just always try to like personalize it that way. But it honestly was pretty quick. And I'm not sure if
Awesome.
I'm in the abnormally there or if it takes some people longer, but I did feel like it was pretty quick to have that guidance and things to fall back on
Sure.
and guidelines and kind of like perfect it and then personalize it for how I needed to
Yep.
in my company.
It sounds like when you started, you were a bit more hands-on getting customers. You said you went door to door, doing a few things. Were you also cleaning the carpets too?
Yeah, so I started about the first 6 months, I was the only technician. So I
Okay.
would physically do jobs. I would find jobs, do jobs, follow up with jobs,
Yeah.
make sure they're satisfied.
You were
Kinda
wearing
doing-
all the hats.
Wearing all the hats, doing everything.
Okay.
After about 6 months in,
And
be-
was that manageable? Sorry to cut you off.
No,
Was
you're good.
that manageable wearing all those hats, or was it just too much? Like, how hard was it to manage everything?
honestly, again, I didn't think it was a lot of work and a lot of trial and error, and there's a learning curve,
Sure.
some growing pains. But after the first couple months, I thought it was decently easy. It was just could be a little time consuming, but nothing like working 80-hour weeks or anything like absurd.
Yeah.
But after this first 6 months, because we talked about like the good solid margins and then my familiarity with the process, I did always kind of view it as I wanted to scale and grow it to where I wasn't wearing all the hats. And
Yep.
so
So where are you now? Are you still wearing all the hats or what?
no, so yeah, after about a year ago, hired a technician, and now there's a couple technicians that service and do the full routes. Also do jobs every now and then, mainly if it's like a last second emergency where like the technician's route is already full, but I don't want to turn down the opportunity to earn someone's business and have a
Right.
new customer. So
Yep.
I'll do like last second jobs or some family and friends.
Okay.
If it's like just
If
makes
you're
sense for
giving
me to
them
do.
a killer deal maybe and you want to cut back
Exactly.
on what you're paying the technician.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
gotcha.
I'll do that, or like jobs that are like super far away, or I'm like, I just don't want to pay the technician an extra couple hours to drive there and
Yeah.
back. So I'll just make an
Right.
afternoon and go and help this person. And so I'll do jobs every now and then I mainly at this point just handle all the logistics as far as like ordering chemicals, making sure that we're all stocked up, things are good to
Yep.
go, things are working,
Making sure the
payroll,
gears are turning.
gears are turning, things are running smoothly. Handle payroll, make sure the technicians are paid accurately and fairly, they get
Cool.
their tips. And then just following up with customers. So I text every customer before the appointment to remind them so we're not wasting our time if they're not prepared or not ready or not going to show
Yeah,
up. And then
Right.
I also follow up with every customer after the job just to make sure that they're 100% satisfied and that they can just remember who we are as best as possible. So
Cool.
again, down the line, when they need things done again, they're not just going to hire some other random person. They're
Yeah.
going to remember us and contact us and have us come again.
Right. Once you put all that effort into finding a new customer, you want to get them to come back
Yeah.
so many times.
Because the way I view it is, especially when I got started, I knew I didn't want to always do jobs. I didn't want to wear all the hats. I wanted to, like, as we scaled and the profit was there to have me be more hands off.
Yeah,
I always did know I was in it for the long haul rather than a quick buck.
sure.
And so like I'd rather do the job right, take the right amount of time, and be fair, transparent pricing with like no hidden fees or costs,
Yeah,
then find ways to upcharge somebody or have an unhappy, satisfied customer
right.
or dissatisfied customer that won't rehire us.
Yeah.
Just because I view things as the long term.
Yeah.
And so every decision I've made for my business has been with that in mind to
Yeah.
scale it organically and appropriately so that it'd be less work for me in the future as things grow.
Sure. Yeah. Kind of delay. It's almost like delayed gratification. Just maybe pay yourself a little bit less upfront,
Yep.
reinvest that back into the business, and then keep it growing from there.
And then even
So-
still, like the fact that I'm not doing jobs, like it still blows my mind. I can just be sitting at home gaming or flipping Pokemon cards or whatever I want to do that day, right?
Yeah.
Or go on some dates, this or that, and then still see it's like, oh, I made $500 today
Get
just
a
from
payment.
yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like even after paying the technician their cut,
Yeah.
and then also paying for the $5 to $10 of supply costs for each job, whatever it is, if
Sure.
even that much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the true cost to keep things running.
Yeah.
Like it is nice to have that. This one almost feels like a passive income at times where it's like, oh, I didn't do too much today, but I had
Yeah.
a decent amount of money come in and
Well, and I think that's everyone's dream, is having that passive income. Some people are sold a little too hard, maybe, on the dream of like, you literally don't have to do anything. But what I think is more realistic is you're no longer trading your time for every dollar that you're making. It's not a direct correlation. So, like you said, you're just sitting there, you're not actually cleaning the carpets, yet you still got paid X amount of money. And I know you brought up an example of a cost or what you might make for a day, but what can someone expect from, if they're doing carpet cleaning, what should someone expect from like an average job, the money coming in, like either gross or net? What would you say?
Yeah, so I found, at least in Utah, I'm sure markets vary, states vary, things
Sure.
like that.
Yeah.
Depending on your competition, rates can change as well.
Yeah.
So I'd say the average job is about $150 in Utah, and
Nice.
it takes an hour and a half, even that sometimes.
Very cool.
And
Okay.
so, at least for how I run things for my company, is I pay my technicians 30%.
Okay.
So if it's 150 or whatever, then they're gonna make like $30 or $50 or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
And then well,
Or
30
plus tips, probably.
yeah, so they make 30% or 20 bucks an hour, whichever is higher. Because again, I think some jobs can be super quick and easy. So then if they're getting a percentage, awesome. They were there for 45 minutes and made 40, 50 bucks. Awesome. It's worth their time.
Yeah.
Or in other jobs that they might be there for a while because the carpets might be bad or some stains might take some extra love.
Extra pass.
Then that's not fair to them to be there for 3 hours and make 50 bucks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I try to kind of personalize it, at least in my company. And then, like you said, they keep 100% of any tips. And the way we've set it up is we're very tactful, but very upfront. But like tips are appreciated, but not mandatory. And they all go to the technicians. So kind of the fact that we bring it up, I think that's the only thing you need to do to really get tips, probably 75%
Just let
of the
people
time.
know that that's an option.
Yeah. And that it goes to the technician. It's not going to go to the owner or somebody that wasn't physically there doing the work. So yeah, I'd say the average, my technicians are making solid money for the hourly rate that they're there. And then they don't pay a dime for any of the costs for the company. Like I cover all that. So like when we need more flex ice or stain remover, or whatever it is, like we obviously pay that. They don't pay a dime out of pocket for anything that they need to do the job right. And then if driving time is more than like a half hour to a job, I'll reimburse them for anything extra. So like the pay is good for them and the pay is still good for me, because like again,
it sounds like pay is probably close to 40 bucks an hour for a entry level technician. 30.
Yeah, they can make solid money. Yeah. And then as the business owner, if I was doing it right, then if I'm making 150 bucks for the average 3-room job or whatever it is, right, for hour and a half of my time, and then I'm paying probably $5 in chemical supplies for that job.
And that's your cost.
Yeah.
Maybe including gas to get there and back, but gas plus $5 in soap. And the rest is profit.
The rest is all profit for an hour and a half, 130 bucks, whatever it is. Like I think it's worth my time. And then especially then on the bigger homes that, it'd be 350 bucks to clean it, and I'm there for 3 hours. It's the same thing. I'm making over 100 bucks an hour as the owner and the technician for that job. So again, the margins are great, and that's what really interested me towards it. So then also like there's more than enough room to pay a technician and then
actually scale
it. Yeah. And to answer your question, I don't even think I answered this earlier, but how much time I'm spending now. At this point now, most of my days I'll spend like an hour or two in like meetings with different companies to partner up with, or potential like commercial clients, things like that. So maybe like an hour or so networking and partnering up. And
so now it sounds like your main focus is just partnering with the right companies, maybe creating strategic relationships with other commercial jobs.
And like going giving quotes hands-on in person for bigger commercial jobs. So like that, and then maybe again another 30 minutes to an hour in logistical stuff, just following up with the customers for the day, following up with the technicians, how everything went, getting them paid out. And then just making sure that everything is organized, ready, the techs have the schedule for the next day's jobs, and that those appointments were confirmed with the customer, so we're not wasting our time showing up to somebody who's not prepared or forgot about the appointment. So just yeah, maybe a couple hours a day in networking meetings and then just logistical stuff. And then if I decide to do a job, then maybe another hour or two
Yeah,
cleaning a home or
right. Do you
I
feel
think-
like you're tied down in your position, or do you feel like you can travel? Like, could you run it from a remote location if you went on a vacation somewhere, or do you feel like you're kind of stuck where you're at?
No, so there's so much flexibility with it. So like I've been to Mexico a couple times over the last year and a half,
Nice.
Hawaii, other places. So like what's nice is again kind of
You've
be
been
more
traveling
hands
more
off.
than I have.
There we go, dude. You should get out more. It's fun. But like there is flexibility there where I would say like the only downside to it is there is an urgency to a lot of things that happen. You have to be proactive to do things when they need to be done. So like if a lead comes in, right, or if I'm tagged on a social media post that somebody's looking for a carpet cleaner,
Sure.
and then other companies are getting tagged too,
Right.
there's urgency for me to reach out to that potential customer
right.
and give them a quote and try to get them on the schedule and close them before they just say yes to a different company that
Gotcha.
did it first.
Yeah.
Right. So I'd say there's urgency and proactiveness behind at any point of the day, there might be a potential customer I need to talk to or give a quote to.
Mhm.
So I have to be alert for that.
Gotcha.
But there's enough flexibility that I can go out and do whatever I want or go wherever I want.
I mean, you can
And-
respond to social media posts
Yeah.
from Mexico.
Like I said, Mexico,
from
Hawaii,
wherever.
things like that. Yeah.
You could call customers from wherever.
hmm
Just a matter of being conscious of that.
Yeah. So it's not super time consuming each day. It's just more so understanding that as the business owner with how I've set things up, I just need to be proactive when things happen. If I want to take it serious to have the opportunity to earn the business of that potential customer
Yeah.
and get them on the route.
I have guys that are like, okay, well, now I know that there's these other good business ideas out there. Carpet cleaning's a good business idea. Why don't I just go out and do it on my own? And to be honest, you could go out and start your own business. But was having our help, I guess the best question is, was having our help worth it in your opinion?
I think it was. I think it was worth every penny. The biggest reason why is not only at the beginning, like, do you need that stability and your experience to kind of like hold the hand,
Yeah.
safety net, whatever
Little bit of
analogy,
guidance.
creative wording you want to use, guidance to explain it. But outside of even just like going through the learning stages to where like I'm at now, like I'd like to think I know what I'm doing, but I'm also and I can be prideful that way and confident that way. But I'm humble enough to realize that more help and like having other people that are, I would say, experienced and knowledgeable in that field as well
Yeah.
is worth like learning from them and bouncing ideas off of them to continue to scale and grow. And so like I know within our own like personal dynamic with what you've done for my company is you've come up with some ideas with like some in-house stain removers I never would have thought of or
Yeah.
never like invested into it or as
Sure.
efficiently as you did. We came up with like UVC light sanitation, which is a big hit for our customers that it separates us from other companies. And so I think you've definitely created an environment and an incentive where like it's worth it for me to continue to like use you and work with you because you're not only am I trying to always find ways to like think out of the box and expand and
Yeah.
grow, but I have like a whole nother networking.
Yeah.
I'd say like again, just experienced, I almost said master of carpet cleaning, but like mogul or whatever
I
you want
wouldn't
to
even
use.
say I'm a master.
But like,
of
you know what I
carpet
mean? Like I have more than just myself to rely on or
Yeah.
to think of ideas to grow and scale or how to efficiently get better
Yeah.
in certain ways. But like the ways that you have creatively provided that as well
Sure.
has been worth
Yeah.
it to like not just think like, oh, I need to start my own company. I can save this
Yeah.
much per month. But I'm thinking of it in terms of the expertise you've given me has probably made me so much more money than if I had done it on my own. So it's
Yeah.
worth the investment and the
Awesome.
accountability that we have to each other.
Sure. Wow, I appreciate that. And just as a disclaimer, I will say there have been plenty of times that I was not personally the one to solve the problem. But I have like a team of people who, like I've referred you to Jacob, Eric,
Mhm.
Aaron, plenty of other people that in my opinion, I know you're grateful to have the ability to come to me, but I'm grateful to have the ability to go to my whole team of people and ask for additional help, because I certainly don't have all the answers, but having that team of people who have been down this path, been down the road of starting a business, getting it up and running, can be super helpful.
Yeah. And to that note, like you think about what labor costs these days, what it takes to like hire out,
Oh yeah.
like in terms of like what I'm paying for to utilize your services and your expertise, like that's nothing compared to the network of, like you said, different hardworking individuals that you're aligned with
Yeah.
and that serves me and helps me as well. Like I'm not
Right.
physically paying Aaron, you know what I mean, or
Yeah.
Jake or any of these guys,
Yeah.
but like because I'm working with you and the network you've created, well, like
have that
I
at your
selfishly get to profit from, again, more people thinking of ways that we can grow, how to do things better, and
Sure.
and how to help me in certain situations and help my technicians and other things like that. So it's
Yeah.
kind of such a kind of cheap, effective way to have people that are working for me without like paying them
a salary
or crazy
Yeah.
amounts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's another reason I think there's a lot of provided value in what you offer versus me trying to do my own thing, because
Sure.
that would cost a lot of money if I were trying to hire out 5,
Yeah.
6 other people and their expertise and their opinions and
and
you know
keep
what I mean?
them employed.
Keep them employed. Exactly. So it's
there's a
it's
nightmare.
bigger than just like you're saying you, and bigger than just me like thinking I can do this on my own, but it's just comforting and just
Sure.
knowing that there's that there for me whenever I need it and
Yep.
take advantage of it.
How would you say your experience has been since day one, or even before day one, but when you first considered starting a carpet cleaning business to now that you have one up and running? How has your experience been?
I'd say overall probably like 9.5 out of 10. Like it's the margins have been amazing. The opportunity to help people has been amazing. The self growth has been amazing. Like learning things to be my own business owner, entrepreneur, boss, like how I can socially help people. Like, because I think everyone growing up, you have bosses that you don't love or wish they would have done things differently. So it's kind of nice to know, like, I know I'm not perfect, but I try really hard to be authentic and human to my employees and technicians and, you know, relate to them on a human level. And so yeah, 9.5, maybe even a 10. Like the business has been great. Things are growing. Like, are we perfect? No. Am I still learning and growing? Absolutely. Has it made me a millionaire? No, but it's been great to like.
Is it making you any money?
It's making me solid money. Yeah.
Awesome.
Like the margins are great. Money's coming in, especially like organic leads and revenue, like all that.
Without paying for marketing.
Without paying for any of that. Yeah. Repeat customers. Now that I'm about a year and a half in, like customers that we serviced a year and a half ago now are recontacting us. A year ago are recontacting us, right? And like I even have a system where I'll reach out to customers at about the 10-month mark just to follow up with them. And so yeah, business has been great. Like there's been hiccups for sure, like anything, but I'd say it's been well worth my time and the grind and the learning curve. Overwhelmingly great experience, and grateful for what it's taught me and the opportunities it's given me. And that's why, like, even too, like we've talked about this, but because of the experiences I've had with carpet cleaning, like we're now looking to expand to other service based industries like tile and grout or maybe HVAC, you know, other things, because we already technically have a client base.
You got the hang of it.
We have the hang of it, how to work, how to do things, like, but then we also have a client base that already knows and trusts us and likes us. That's like, if they have a home, they probably will need these other things done. We can get them a bundled deal. And so I view it too, like, again, in the long term, the way I've always viewed things and how to scale things appropriately. Like, I don't just view carpet cleaning as like, that's the end all be all. But it also could be a gateway into other opportunities to make even more money, employ even more people, help even more people. And like, because that's just a free customer base already there if you've done the job right. That
they know you, trust you.
Exactly.
You've been in their house.
Or other companies have already partnered up with, same thing. Like maybe the cleaner ladies that I work with, the people don't need their carpets cleaned, but they ask them like, do you know anyone that cleans tile and grout? Because that'd take too long for you to clean the tile and grout. Like they can now use us, refer us as well, like they do when they refer us to carpet, like people that need their carpets done. And so I kind of viewed carpet cleaning as kind of entry point to a service based, like, what's the word I want to use?
industry, a service-based
industry. Yeah,
industry.
just kind of like
Yeah,
a collection of things that we can offer people, because that just makes
yeah,
in my mind the most sense about how I can make this such a profitable like industry for me,
sure.
that's kind of my end goal. And
Love
because of
that.
the good experience I've had with the carpet cleaning over the last year and a half, and with your help and things, I think that's just possible as we scale, those
Yeah.
things could happen.
Heck yeah, I love that vision. I love that you have a goal to grow it beyond just where you're at now. But most importantly, that you have the potential to do that. So many people are just stuck in their day-to-day grind. There's not a lot of growth, but where you're at, like you're saying, there's so many
Yeah.
different ways that you can grow your business.
They go hand in hand. They
Expand
can
things.
organically
Yeah.
work together. Yeah,
Heck
100%.
yeah. Well, AJ, thanks so much for sitting down with us for a little bit and telling us about your experience. I think these guys appreciate
I
it.
think this has been a great conversation. I appreciate the opportunity,
Yeah,
and really do appreciate everything that you've done for me. Couldn't have done it without you. Couldn't be where I am without you. I know my employees are grateful, and the
Cool.
support that you've given us. So, no,
are you glad you did it?
yeah, no, super glad. Yeah, and that's not even like this is a paid promotion. Kyle's forcing me to say this, but like,
Here's $20.
it's worth it. $20. But no, dude, yeah, it's been worth it.
Perfect.
Like, it took some growth and learning and things like that to get to the point where we are now.
Yeah,
But honestly, can say in hindsight, looking at the last year and a half, like, things have been better than I expected they could be at this point. Things are growing, things are exciting, and it's been really grateful, and even more excited for the future and how we can continue to scale and
yeah.
get things rolling.
I'm really excited to see your success. I know with you adding other services, you mentioned the lights and looking into HVAC and anything else. I'm excited to see your growth and see where you take it from here. So
Thanks, man.
thanks again, AJ.
Appreciate you, dude.
We'll see you on the flip side.